Coming up on UCF Nightly News. Find out how UCF nurses are helping with vaccinations in their communities.
We'll show you how Florida has seen a decrease in COVID-19 cases and deaths in the past week.
And how UCF's favorite homecoming tradition will look different because of COVID-19 protocols this semester. Nightly News starts now. Good afternoon and welcome to Nightly News. I'm Sade Teel.
And I'm Sean Green. Today is Friday, February 18th, 2021. We have breaking news this afternoon. Court records show the man arrested in connection with the deadly shooting near the UCF campus is, quote, ready for pickup. Mauricio Antonio Castro appeared before a Seminole County judge Thursday afternoon after Oviedo police arrested him on a warrant. He faces a second-degree murder charge for the death of 24-year-old Jesus Armando Calle. Once Castro is transferred to the Orange County Jail, we will keep you updated on his case.
UCF nursing students are stepping up to support community vaccination sites around Central Florida. I will tell you more about what nearly 200 student nurses are doing to help the community. A nationwide effort is underway involving UCF nursing students. The effort is led by the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, where UCF students are administering COVID-19 vaccinations. 200 UCF student nurses from all UCF campuses are expected to participate. Students are serving at community vaccination sites across the region and partner with local hospitals such as Advent Health and Orlando Health while providing doses of the vaccine to those eligible under Florida's executive order. The order includes people 65 years of age or older, healthcare workers with direct patient contact, long-term care residents, and patients deemed to be vulnerable to COVID-19. UCF Internship Experiences Coordinator Kate Dormany says each student is well-trained to administer vaccines.
Where we have mannequins and practice equipment and, builds muscles and arms, all these different body parts in which students can practice and develop those skills. Then, coupled with didactic courses, of course, then they proceed in a live setting, live patients.
UCF nursing student Catherine Moya Boken says she has administered nearly 60 vaccinations and is thankful for the opportunity to gain hands-on experience.
Especially, in a couple of months, once we take our NCLEX, our boards, we'll be out there in the field. So any little bit of hands-on that we can get with a real life person is so important and so valuable, honestly.
Dormany says students not only administer vaccines but help with monitoring patients. Dormany says the goal is to provide all students who plan to graduate this spring with the opportunity to participate in at least one vaccination administration. In Orlando, Sade Teel, UCF Nightly News. Due to COVID-19, UCF nursing students did not have in-person classes up until the start of this semester. The nursing students will continue to administer vaccines in hopes of gaining hands-on experience in the field.
Newly reported COVID-19 cases in the U.S. fell to its lowest level in almost 4 months over President's Day weekend. 53,000 new cases were reported on Monday, the lowest amount since October. This was a dramatic decrease in cases, as just a day earlier there were over 10,000 more reported and 40,000 more a week prior. Deaths are also seeing a decline with 989 new deaths that were reported on Monday, the lowest since November. The CDC reports over 27.6 million cases and almost 500,000 deaths.
Homecoming week is back, and so is the annual Spirit Splash. Nightly News reporter Cliff Tumatel explains what is different about this year's Spirit Splash.
UCF's most iconic homecoming tradition is coming back, but with some big changes. This semester's Spirit Splash will be split into 2 separate 1-hour sessions. UCF is allowing up to 650 students per session. Spirit Splash director Colton Flynn says despite it being a large gathering, UCF will still keep an eye out on students not following the rules.
It's going to be really well staffed, and there's going to be people working the event all around, and they're have received clear instructions from me.
If the students continue to break the rules, they will be escorted out of the event. Another change is splitting up students into groups of 4. Once the student checks in with friends, they are placed in a spot in the lawn by the pond, and the closer you get, the easier it is for the group to get wet.
Instead of rushing into the pond, the groups will have another way of getting wet. This year, the splash is being brought to them through these super soakers and spirit guns as a safer way to have fun and stay wet.
Senior integrated business student Maria Morales is graduating this semester, and she says Spirit Splash is a good way to end her time here at UCF along with her mother.
It's good that they're giving us the opportunity to experience this and still have fun while taking in considerations the precautions and things that we need to do to stay safe.
Morales says she hopes she and her mother are able to grab that duck as a memory here at UCF. In Orlando, Cliff Tumatel, UCF Nightly News.
Students can RSVP through Knights Connect on the Homecoming Spirit Splash page now.
UCF Housing and Residence Life is making major budget cuts by cutting the house, keeping services for on-campus living. UCF Nightly News reporter John Whitley explains how this will affect the residents and employees.
UCF Housing will no longer provide hotel-level service, such as taking out residents' trash and vacuuming their floors. UCF Director of Strategic Communications, Mark Schlube, says the change is expected to save UCF $1.2 million annually, and none of the housekeeping workers will lose their jobs.
Fortunately, we aren't going to have to lay off any workers at all. Those 28 custodial staff will be shifted to other areas where they're needed at the university outside of UCF Housing.
Housing costs will not change for students despite doing away with these services. The move was partially made to avoid increasing the housing costs. UCF freshman and on-campus housing resident Brandon McDonald says he feels disappointed to pay the same amount of money for less service.
That is kind of annoying that you are paying the same thing even though you're not getting housekeeping and people aren't taking care of what you are paying for, but I mean, we're just going to have to take that responsibility on and do what we have to do to keep our area clean.
Starting this summer, UCF housing residents will be required to take out their own trash to designated spots in each building. Residents will also be responsible for the cleaning in each of their rooms.
McDonald also says while it was nice having those services, he is glad rates are not increasing. In Orlando, John Whitley, UCF Nightly News.
The changes will be implemented after all current leases have ended.
Orlando will try to increase tourism as COVID-19 cases decline. According to tourism marketing agency Visit Florida, over 86 million tourists visited Orlando in 2020. To promote tourism, Visit Florida launched a new ad campaign this week. UCF tourism and attraction professor Ashley Tassi says that even though the ad is a step in the right direction, it might not be what Orlando needs right now.
In people's minds, but it's not going to be the factor that will convince people to travel. So if you want your promotional dollars to work towards convincing people to travel, I think they need to wait a little bit.
The SGA Ticketing Center has also lost money due to COVID-19. According to the UCF Activities Board, all Disney and SeaWorld tickets have expired. The Ticket Center says they have no plans to renew those tickets in the near future. Representatives at Visit Florida say Orlando tourism may not fully recover until 2023.
Giulia, feeling the weather outside this morning made me wish we were back in the fall. Can you tell us how hot it is today?
Well, Sean, I feel ya. I could really go for a pumpkin spice latte, but unfortunately, we're stuck with the warm weather for now. Currently, we're at 78 degrees with a 71% chance of humidity. The winds are blowing west-southwest at 16 miles per hour, and there's a 69% chance of rain. So if you're leaving your house in Central Florida, you won't want to forget that umbrella. That's all the time I have for now. Back to you, Sean and Sade.
Coming up, see how UCF student government is getting campus involved with a t-shirt swap.
Plus, learn about the business of hip-hop as UCF is offering a one-of-a-kind certificate program this summer.
student government gave students a chance to swap old university shirts for new UCF ones. SGA hosted the Nightmare t-shirt swap in front of the Student Union Thursday. 80 t-shirts were swapped. These shirts were then donated to the Knights Pantry. SGA Athletics Coordinator Bryce Wyatt said he was very happy with the outcome.
I think it's a great way to get students some more UCF gear. I know over the years UCF has been trying to not become such a transient school with people wearing Gators shirts and FSU shirts all over and try to make them fully Knights. So there's just
have future events involving free t-shirt giveaways. They hope to bring school spirit to the students and make them official honorary Knights. A free speech advocacy group is suing UCF and claims the university is suppressing free speech. Speech First alleges that the university's discriminatory harassment policy disciplines students who say and write statements that may offend others, which the group claims violates the First Amendment. The 44-page lawsuit mentions the case of UCF psychology professor Charles Nagy, who was fired from classroom misconduct just a few weeks ago. The university has since issued a statement in response.
Business of Hip Hop, one of the most popular classes on UCF campus, will become part of an innovative certificate program starting this summer. The new certificate program is called Business of Hip Hop Innovation and Creative Industries, and it will include both online and face-to-face classes. UCF professor and head of the program, Dr. Keith Harrison, says the program stands out because it's 100% integrated with UCF's College of Business.
What's amazing is other schools have taught hip-hop, but not in a school of business. We are the first university in the world, it's a fact, to teach the business of hip-hop with it titled in the courses, with it titled in a certificate ever.
Harrison also said students will learn everything from marketing and sales strategies to how it's possible to launch a business focusing just on the niche of hip-hop. Any student, regardless of their major, can sign up for the program, which can be completed in 1 year. Now we'll take a look at This Week on NSM. Learn about Florida's teaching shortage during the pandemic. See how some students celebrated their Valentine's Day through a virtual wine tasting event. And in sports, UCF introduces new head coach Gus Malzahn and his first coaching hire, defensive coordinator Travis Williams. To keep up with all things UCF, make sure to check out nsm.today.
And when we come back, see what the forecast looks like as we head into a colder weekend.
Plus, learn about a new collegiate effort UCF has joined to help astronauts in space.
The U.S. National Science Foundation is providing cybersecurity scholarships to UCF through a $2.9 million grant.
22 scholarships will be available to both undergraduate and graduate students. Students who receive scholarships will focus on cybersecurity training and research. The director of UCF's Cybersecurity and Privacy Cluster, Dr. Jan Solin, says scholarship recipients must follow certain guidelines.
In order to become cybersecurity professionals, to join the government agencies, so at the level of federal, state, local, or tribe.
Solin says that they must work at the government organization for the same amount of time that they were given the scholarship. Dr. Solin told me that the grant was given out in an attempt to fill the many open jobs in the cybersecurity field. Muhammad Sade, a student in the UCF Cybersecurity and Privacy Cluster, says that now, more than ever, encouraging students to learn about cybersecurity is extremely important.
Provided that we are moving into a digital space, we are putting a lot of money online, we really are facing a crisis in the future, or likely something that could go wrong.
5 other universities were awarded the same grant through NSF's Scholarship for Service program, CyberCorps. In Orlando, Giulia Silva, UCF Nightly News.
The first scholarships will be awarded starting in fall 2021.
NASA is awarding nearly $1 million to 7 universities, helping develop ways to deal with moon dust. UCF was one of the universities chosen. NASA scientists say moon dust poses clear health risks to astronauts. To reduce the problem, the selected teams will develop methods like air filtration systems and dust-free landing pads and workspaces. The UCF team is currently designing a new type of material to cover spacesuits that make it easier to remove moon dust after missions. UCF researchers are also incorporating techniques from origami to increase the material's longevity.
Giulia, how does the weather look throughout the state heading into this weekend?
Well, Sade, let's take a look at Florida's high. In Tallahassee, we have 55 degrees. In Jacksonville, the high is 68. In Tampa, it's 71, and here in Orlando, the high is 80 degrees. Down south in Miami, we're looking at a high of 81. As for the lows, in Tallahassee, we have 35 degrees, and in Jacksonville, we have 40. In Tampa, it's 47, and in Orlando, we have 48. Down south in Miami, we're looking at a low of 63 degrees. Now let's take a look at the 5-day weather forecast. The high is 65 degrees on Saturday with the low of 50. We're looking at 0% chance of rain throughout the week and only 30% chance of rain on Monday. The high on Sunday is 70 and the low is 58. On Monday, the high is 79 and the low is 57. Tuesday is 72 and 51, and Wednesday is 78 and 57. Taking a look at the national weather forecast, over here in purple, you'll see that it represents mixed precipitation. In Florida, the green part, which is covering most of the Florida and some of the East Coast, is rain and thunderstorms. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Sean and Sade.
After the break, we get to meet UCF football's new head coach and some of the staff joining him.
Plus, UCF baseball is back in full swing. Find out how fan attendance will be different ahead of tonight's home opener.
Knights fans, I'm Matison Little, and here's your UCF sports update. Gus Malzahn is UCF football's new head coach. UCF Knightly news reporter Sean Green tells us more about the new Knight.
Malzahn has a 77-38 record as a head coach. His hire comes after new athletic director Terry Mahajer was hired by the university last week. Mahajer said in Malzahn's introductory press conference that Malzahn was the perfect candidate.
He's the right guy at the right time to lead this program. Not only do I believe that he's the best college football coach in the state of Florida now, I believe he'll put together one of the best staffs in America. It's time to rise again.
Malzahn was let go of his duties after going 6-4 last season at Auburn. Many UCF fans will remember the Knights' 2017 football season, which was one for the ages. They even hung up a national championship banner to commemorate it. Malzahn coached and lost against UCF in the Peach Bowl that year, which launched UCF into the national spotlight. In his introductory press conference on Monday, Malzahn says the head coaching position at UCF was something he wanted for a long time.
This is going to be one of the best programs in college football in a short period of time, and at times they've been that way. And so that's another goal of mine, as far as that goes. But, this is a job that I'm planning on being here and building it.
Malzahn has already started filling out his staff, adding Travis Williams as defensive coordinator, David Gibbs as co-defensive coordinator and secondary coach, and Herb Hand as the offensive line coach. In Orlando, Sean Green, UCF Nightly News.
Malzahn is already offering recruits for upcoming classes, and as of this morning, UCF hired Chris Dawson as the new director of sports performance for football. The Knights are set to start spring practices in March. Speaking of Malzahn, we can now see exactly where the Gus bus will take us. The official UCF football schedule is set. The Knights will tackle their first game of the season the first weekend of September against non-conference team Boise State. This is the first time the Knights will see the Broncos in program history. UCF will also see Louisville this season. The last time we saw this matchup was 2013, where the Knights took down the Cardinals 38-35. Of course, the Knights will face their usual conference team, ending their regular season with the infamous War on I-4. You can check out the UCF Athletics page for a better look at what's to come this season. UCF baseball takes the field tonight to start their 2021 campaign. Nightly News reporter Jarrett Kappelman tells us what to look for in the Knights this season.
Tonight, the Knights open the 2021 season at John Giuliano Park. UCF started last season 15-3 and ranked number 12 in the country before the season came to an end due to COVID-19. This year, UCF will be without 2020 preseason all-conference outfielder Dalton Wingo. Wingo led the team in hits last season, but according to head coach Greg Lovelady, Wingo decided to retire from baseball. Redshirt senior Jordan Rathbone says even without Wingo on the team, the Knights still have a scary lineup.
With our offense, I just think we have a lot of different tools and a lot of different ways we can win. We have guys top to bottom that I think can do big things.
That's not the only change in 2021. UCF Athletics announced the ballpark can be filled to 25% of its capacity. There will also be strict physical distancing similar to the ones football and basketball are using. Lovelady said it will be different playing with less fans, but does not think it will define the outcome of the Knights season.
There's definitely going to be some negative aspect to it that could help us, that maybe it won't. But at the end of the day, we got to go out and outplay the other team.
Students will still be able to attend home games, and tickets for games can be purchased online or at the box office.
UCF Athletics confirmed that students will still be able to use their UCF IDs to get admission to games this season. However, those will be limited to keep capacity at 25%. In Orlando, Jarrett Kappelman, UCF Nightly News.
The Knights take on the FAU Owls tonight at 6 p.m., but it will be without head coach Greg Lovelady, who tested positive for COVID-19 this morning. That's all I have for sports this week. Tune in Monday for a recap on all games happening this weekend. Now back to Sade and Sean.
That's our time for right now. Thanks for joining us. Remember, you can always keep up with us during the week on our website, nightlynews.ucf.edu.
And hey, if you've got a story idea you want us to know about, send it our way. You can reach us at nightlynews@ucf.edu. Thanks for watching, and charge on.